Missing someone.
As far as color goes, like I had mentioned to you in the text, about 30 years of this color, home box dye, unfortunately, and just got to a point where the grays were starting to combat the dye to the point that it made it kind of pointless to keep coloring, and over the past year I just became more and more interested in growing out my gray and having my hair go completely gray as much as possible. Definitely interested in more of a light silver type tone, moreover than a dark gray, but within reason and within health abilities of my hair.
Do you have pictures of your goal?
Various pictures of the goals that I'm thinking of.
Okay.
Of course, again, within the ability of health and hair.
Have you ever done highlights before?
I've never done highlights before.
Okay.
No. Yeah, that would be, if there's the possibility of a money piece, that would be awesome, just for a little pop.
Do that.
But yeah, whatever you deem is best.
How often were you doing the box color?
Oh gosh. Within the past year, I would say probably it got to a point of every 3.5 weeks.
Were you just doing it like on the roots, or were you pulling it through everywhere?
On the roots for the initial 20 minutes of processing, and then I would pull it through for the last 10.
Every time?
Every time.
Okay. So because of that, the ends might be a little bit stubborn. We'll see how
No
light they
problem.
get.
Absolutely, no problem.
And then the other thing is getting rid of the copper. It just might take a few sessions to get it all out.
Yeah, I know red is a stubborn one.
What if I get you light enough, like let's say it gets to like a yellow but not a pale yellow,
Sure.
would you be okay with a slight violet tone
Of course.
to it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I know that's kind of part of the toning process to combat the warmth, is to go kind of a violet-y direction. And as with most, anything that allows for a soft grow out that isn't quite this harsh line of demarcation sort of thing, but yeah, within reason.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So this week I want to show you a new guest and her hair transformation. So this is kind of her before. You could tell in our consultation she told us that she was doing box dye. You can see she has a little bit over an inch of her natural gray, and telling by this video you can tell that her texture is a bit on the finer side. She did say that she was going through some health conditions and it was going to get a little bit better, and so her doctor said that her hair was going to get a little bit thicker over time. So this isn't normally how fine her hair typically looks, but as far as the texture of the hair strand itself, it is still on the finer side. And so my main concern was, in the consultation she told me that she was doing that box dye quite often, and what was most concerning to me was that she wasn't just putting it on the roots, she was putting it all over, like for that last 10 minutes like she said. And normally when you do that, that can be a little bit concerning because, again, box dye can just be very drying on the hair. It's adding a lot of warm pigment into the hair most of the time, and layers of it can potentially be very difficult to remove. So that was my main concern as far as her mids and ends. I really wasn't sure if her hair would get as light as it does, as you can see from the end of the video later on, but I wanted to just make sure that I took extra care in detail because of, one, the texture of her hair is a bit on the finer side. You have to be extremely careful and just gentle on the hair, especially when it's finer, because it's not as strong as coarser hair. And then the other thing is, because she has all those layers of that box dye, box dye is just very unpredictable, and so you just want to be a little wary and careful with that as well too. So I'm going in with my signature placement. You can probably watch other videos where I go in a little bit more depth and explain it. I'll just kind of give a quick overview if you are new to my channel. So I do a quick detail hairline weave around the nape, and you can see I'm taking my center parting section of slices all the way in the back. I take this back section all in one just to save space, and then later you'll see I will connect the bits on the sides of the back with the side front all in one section, and it just saves a lot of time opposed to like splitting this back section into two, which I used to do. But ever since I've been switching over and doing it this way, I want to say I've saved at least 15, maybe 20 minutes by doing it this way. And when you've got a few foils throughout the day, that 15 to 20 minutes can totally add up, and it just saves me a lot of time and ease of mind, especially when I'm trying to get through a few clients in the day. So after that, she does have a side part, and she did tell me she wanted a money piece, so I'm going in right now and detailing her hairline. She kind of has like a slight widow's peak type of hairline situation going on, so I do a detail kind of following the shape of her hairline, and then kind of going back to the center section, or like doing a more horizontal placement. And I do a few slices for her money piece because she told me that she wanted to have a nice bolder money piece, so we're going in and doing that for her. And then I'm going to connect that money piece with the back with just some slices and negative space. Since she has a bit of a finer texture, I am not like, the negative space that I'm leaving in between her foils is just enough to where I can like see through it, but it's like not too thick and not too thin. Like it's there, I can see through it, but it's not too thin, and it's not too thick where I can't see through it. So that's kind of what I was gauging at. And so as I'm going through the sides now, I'm going to connect that top money piece to the side money piece. So again, doing a slice on the hairline, following her hairline there. And I will do a couple of slices back to back to again give her that nice beautiful bold money piece like she asked for. So here is how I connect that back center section with the front. So you can see this is my side section now, and I'm doing a detail hairline above the ear. This one I always weave. I never like to slice it just in case they put their hair in a ponytail. I don't want to see any lines right above the ear here. I want it to be very soft, very seamless. And then after that, I'm going in, continuing my slices like I normally do. My spacing is very similar to how I did in the back. And again, just making sure that my sections are nice and see-through. I'm getting a very clean, even lift and saturation and application, all of that good stuff, because I need her hair to lighten as light as possible, but still be gentle. And that's the way you're going to do it, is taking very thin slices and making sure that you get a really good application. Like this part, I don't slack or do this part too sloppy or anything. I want to really take my time and make sure that everything is nice and clean. My sections are very clean, because when I go in and do her touch-ups, it's going to make my life 100% more easy if I make sure that my sections are very clean. Now this clip, it's very sped up. Like this is not how fast I normally work, but you guys get the point. I kind of just go through it, making sure that I'm taking attention to detail with her hair, like I do with all my clients. And after I do my placement, I'm going in because I want to add a few tip outs. She had some copper all over from the box dye, and really the only way I'm gonna make that melt and make it look like she's overall more silver tone, if she is able to get to the silver tone, is to brighten the ends in between. And so you can see from this clip actually that she has a lot of hair outside the foil. So I'm going in and just like teasing, weaving, over directing those teases to the front to kind of give a softer blend, and then just making sure that I get most of it out. When I do my teases in the front, I usually will do them pretty solid, but as you can see, I'm doing the back teases right now, and those teases I'll kind of like tease and then I'll do a little weave just to kind of break it up, and that's going to give the illusion where the back is a little bit more dimensional and then gets a little bit lighter closer towards the front, because I weaved it rather than taking more of a solid teasy light. Yeah. So surprisingly, her hair lifted really great considering the box size. She got extremely lucky. You can see how even everything is, even with her virgin root with the box dye. And one of the main reasons why I think this probably happened is, one, because she is naturally, like if you saw her roots from before, she is naturally very light. And two, the box dye, the level that she was using wasn't necessarily like that much darker than her natural. So if you are ever doing a box color at home and are trying to cover up gray, like if you absolutely have to do it, I always say try to go a little bit more on the lighter side, because if you ever do decide to do highlights, at least you're not fighting such a dark tone and it's kind of on the lighter side. So she got really lucky because I believe it's because she used such a light box dye. But again, still, she is a very lucky and rare case because she did layer that box dye. And considering how much she layered it and everything, her hair still felt nice, honestly. And I kind of partly believe because she did tell me she got a haircut right before she came in for this session, so probably all the dry ends she was able to cut off before we did all of this color. Okay, so now we're going to be going in with the toner, and I am going to be doing a toner that is really customized for her. When I was considering what to mix up with her, I took into consideration the texture of her hair, what it lifted to, and yeah, that's pretty much it. It's pretty much the texture and what it lifts to, because I feel like the texture and what it lifts to kind of determines what kind of silver toner I'll do. And the different types of silver toners I'll do is picture a lighter silver tone, and then picture like more of a violet-y, more pigmented silver tone. And for her, because she lifted so nicely and her hair is naturally so light, the level 10 that she lifted to was a super pale yellow. So she really didn't need anything that had too much ash in it or anything like that. Anything more of the lighter silver tone would have been perfect. And also on finer textures, the lighter silver tone works best as well too. Typically, hair that is a little bit more on the coarser side, even though they get to a level 10, tends to need a little bit more ash than hair that is on the finer side. So because her hair is fine and also her hair is naturally so light and it lifted really pretty to a super, super pale yellow, she got my version of a lighter silver tone. So we did a mixture for her root shadow. We did a level 6. I always use a level 6 for root shadows, unless they don't want a root shadow specifically. So I feel like a level 6 is pretty safe for everybody. And so she got a level 6, and the level 6 is more of a blue based shadow root. And then after that, for my silver tone, I mixed up the rapid toners. I did a mixture of icy, moonstone, and silver to create my lighter silver tone. Alrighty guys, so here is the finished look, and I didn't get a reaction video because I was really busy this day and it just slipped my mind, but she absolutely loved it. I promise you. She loved the fact that everything blended so well. And you guys, I am filming this in July. Like, I'm kind of reviewing and showing you and editing this video for you guys in July. And in reality, I did her hair in April. And I feel like, honestly, because it came out so good and I sent her home with like purple shampoo, I might not see her for a while. Like, this might fade perfect for her. And she might feel like that's it. Like, I might see her once or twice a year. But honestly, when a client waits that long and is able to grow out their natural hair color and just feels so good with the color that I've already given to them, or like kind of done on their head, and it lasts them that long, honestly, that makes me extremely happy. I feel like I did a really good job when the color lasts that long, and I feel like, especially with these type of gray blending transformations, I feel like the longer a client can go, that's ultimately the goal. I feel like that is where it makes me happy, and I feel like I did a good job because that's ultimately what we were trying to achieve, essentially. So overall, very happy with the result, and I know for sure her hair probably still looks good. Like, I don't know, what is this, 3 months later, and I'll probably see her maybe, I don't know, I might not even see her. She might just grow this out, which I would be totally fine with, because I honestly think it came out beautiful. And even though she does have a little bit of copper in between her highlights, it's not enough to where I believe it might bother her. It looks 100 times better than her before, and we kind of ultimately achieved what she was looking for, which was, one, a softer grow out and something that would just blend with her roots. That was the goal. And so that she didn't have to keep coloring it, and so her hair could get healthy over time without having to color it so often. And so if she doesn't come in, I feel like we reached our goal, and she is on her way to having beautiful natural gray hair and have it fully grown out by then. Alrighty guys, that is it for this week's episode. Thank you guys so much for watching and tuning in, and as always, I will talk to you guys next week.